Hello there, welcome to the Ogre, the old Git Reacts reviews and oft times reminisces. Today we're doing something of a guilty pleasure. Most of the stuff I've done so far has been heads down, no nonsense, minus boogie, with a couple of exceptions maybe. But there are there are times when I hear songs that grab my attention that aren't my usual fare, and this song will be one of them. Miranda Sex Garden, which depending on your frame of mind and predilections can conjure up any number of images, but there was a film many years ago that I watched. At the end credits song was the song we're going to listen to today. And I thought that's interesting, quite like that, and thought nothing more of it. And then after the event, I sort of wondered, I wonder what that was. And for the life of me, I couldn't remember what the film was, so I couldn't go and check on that. And I hadn't paid any attention to the playlist that they usually have at the end of a film. So, but every now and again, I sort of thought to myself, I wonder what that was. And then eventually, when I thought about it, Cut kept coming to mind. So I must have paid some sort of attention, because Cut it is. And after trawling the internet for a little while, it didn't take too long, I found the track, listened to some other stuff from Miranda Sex Garden, and I'm sorry, it's not my thing, but there's always an exception, and this track is one of it. So let's have a listen, shall we? It starts very slowly, takes a while to kick in. Okay, first things first, I suppose, that bass line is bound to grab your attention. The way it drives along, it is this and the vocals are the driving forces of this song, as far as I'm concerned. And to a degree, it places this song in time. I mean, listening to that, oblivious to anything else, I'd have gone, perhaps say late 80s, early 90s song, even though in the other aspects it's pretty timeless. But it's not a comparison, but it brings to mind a Killing Joke bass line in many ways. In fact, it's not the same bass line or anything near, but the impact and effect is the same as Hosannas from the Basement of Hell by Killing Joke. It reminds me, the effect reminds me of that track. Excuse me. And the other thing that immediately grabs you, or grabs me, are the vocals. That imploring, high singing, and the counterpoint between the two vocals, intriguing to say the least. There's for the most part, any guitar work, if it's there at all, there was a bit just then distorted guitar, but it seems to me that strings take the role of the guitar more often on this track. I know a little bit now about the history of this band. I never researched, but it's inevitable that you when you're looking or listening to tracks, you find out a bit more about a band, their history. There's a fair bit of classical experience or knowledge, training for some of the members at least. It's inevitable, I suppose, that they use stringed instruments in their music, but the way they're used here is markedly different to some of the other stuff they do. The drums, I was talking about the bass line and Killing Joke, the drums, thinking about just then reminds me of the Susie and the Banshees to a degree. Budgie's drumming springs to mind. That light, relative to what I listen to normally, that light drumming, but insistent and repetitive, as most drumming is, of course, but it complements the driving bass as well, all building up to something of a delight. Lots of changes of emphasis that keep this interesting. Lots of little walk-on parts here that, as I keep this fresh sounding, even though it would sound fresh anyway, I guess. So there you go. That's a guilty pleasure, really, that isn't a guilty pleasure at all. Why would you feel guilty about that? But as I say, it's not my usual sort of listening. So every now and again, one of these songs creeps in and takes me unawares and brings me joy. It's a shame, really, that. Why is it a shame? No, it's not. Forget that thought. Forget I even mentioned. I suppose the point I'm making is this is one of probably only 3 of their tracks that I like, and this is the one I like the most. It's quite ethereal sounding, and in some ways there's a vulnerability there, and in other aspects there's a strength. I think the song, as it builds, takes itself from a vulnerability perspective to one of strength. So it's hard to, because I've done this on the fly really. I just decided this morning I would review this, so I've not really thought too much about it. Lyrically, I ain't got a clue. I don't listen to lyrics on anything. I'm not interested, and so even though that they're there, I can make out words. I have no idea what this song's about lyrically. I'm not. I hear one or two words. Being deaf and old doesn't help to really, and be able to discern between things is more difficult for me. Certain frequencies of sound I struggle to make out nowadays. God, I sound like I'm ancient, don't I? But anyway, I digress, as usual. So I thoroughly enjoyed that. Even though I don't like much of the rest of this band stuff, it's still interesting to listen to. It just isn't my thing. But as I say, there are one or two other tracks of theirs that I can listen to and enjoy. So I've slipped that one in for you. I'll probably do, while I'm on a bit of a roll with this, I shall do a theme of one or two other guilty pleasures over the next week or so. So I wonder what will come next. Anyway, clicky bollocks if you want, and I'll catch you all next time.